Hi, my name is Chloe, and I did my biology role model project on Ayana Elizabeth Johnson. Ayana Johnson was born in 1980 and grew up in Brooklyn, New York. She is a marine biologist, environmental strategist, and policy expert. Johnson saw her first coral reef when she was only 5 years old. Her father would tell her stories about how he grew up fishing in Jamaica. This drew her attention to how coral reefs and fish have been impacted over time. As a young girl, she loved going to the aquarium and was fascinated with marine life. In high school, Johnson served on the Student Conservation Association. She found her love for conservation and management through this experience. After graduating high school, Johnson went on to earn a BA in Environmental Science and Public Policy at Harvard. She then continued her education at Scripps Institution of Oceanography. At Scripps, she earned a PhD in marine biology with a dissertation on the ecology, socioeconomics, and policy of sustainably managing coral reefs. Ayana faced many obstacles in her life. When she graduated from Harvard, she landed a position as an environmental scientist at the Environmental Protection Agency. However, she was the youngest member of her team by at least 15 years. She was also the only African American employee and the only employee without a graduate degree at the time. She struggled a lot with imposter syndrome and feeling as if she didn't fit in. When interviewed about her job at the EPA, she said, "I didn't really know what I was doing." She believed that she didn't have enough education or experience to keep up with other employees, but in reality, she had so much more knowledge than she believed that she did. Johnson says that her parents always encouraged her to have a sense of wonder. She loves dancing, reading poetry, and exploring new ideas. Along with her love of oceans, she also loves forests. What I admire most about Johnson is that she never gave up on science. She said that science never came the easiest to her, but it was the most interesting, so she continued to stick with it. This is something I relate to and really admire. I also relate to her feeling as if she was an imposter and didn't know what she was doing in science. Sometimes, as a woman studying STEM, I feel out of place, but I am inspired by her dedication to push through the uncomfortableness. Johnson is in the field of marine biology. Her research interests focus on urban ocean conservation, sustainable fishing, ocean zoning, climate change, and social justice. She has done research on the bycatch impacts in Caribbean coral reef trap fisheries, and she has also collaborated relating to international collaboration for reducing the impacts of climate change on small island states. She tends to focus her research on how we can contribute to sustainable marine management and policy. A recent study she has worked on relates to marine spatial planning in Barbuda. The scientific paper details the processes by which the Caribbean island of Barbuda, with the help from outside sources, created comprehensive marine spatial planning regulations. The final zoning plans balance economic, conservation, and cultural uses. Many steps are required in order to ensure successful design and implementation of these regulations, such as organizing stakeholder participation, defining principles and goals, gathering mapped information, and incorporating the final zones into enforceable legal frameworks. Figure 4 shows a heat map of fishing value in Barbuda's coastal waters. It was developed with data from fishermen interviews and calculated as spatial access priority per square kilometer. From these responses, the map was created by dividing the importance assigned to a fishing area by its size. Areas that were important for multiple fishermen received a high value. This figure was very important and was taken into account when brainstorming how spatial planning in Barbuda would work. Johnson invented a fish trap that would help reduce bycatch. Her invention won the first National Geographic Solution Search Award. Johnson also serves on the board of directors for Patagonia and the advisory board of Scientific American. With her next steps, she continues to encourage sustainable ocean management and further her research on marine spatial planning. Ayana Johnson is a groundbreaking, inspiring young woman scientist whose work is very influential. She is a scientific role model to me. Here are my information sources. Here are my image sources, part 1. And here are my image sources, part 2.